There is a kind of vaccine that is not injected into the flesh, but awakened from within, an immunity that does not fight bacteria, but cleanses the negative vibrations that silently poison life each day. In an age where the mind is so easily programmed by fear, anger, and doubt, what is urgent is no longer the healing of external wounds, but the restoration of the inner spiritual defense system. This 16-part journey will guide you through every layer of awareness, from the microscopic to the vast, from the personal to the collective resonance. Each part is a dose of vibration, a step in rebooting the mind, and a reminder that you are not powerless. You have simply not yet activated the right code within yourself. And when you awaken that power, your entire reality will transform, not through any miracle from the outside, but through the authority that has always been within you. The spiritual vaccine, the invisible shield within the mind. Most people believe that only matter can heal, that the body needs medicine, injections, or surgical intervention to fight disease. They forget that the true foundation of every outer manifestation lies in the mind. There is no vaccine stronger than a right belief. There is no medicine more effective than a perfect thought, planted in the subconscious and nourished by absolute faith. The mind is not merely where you think it is the source of health, prosperity, peace, and freedom. When you understand how it works, you will no longer live in fear of illness or poverty. From the moment you align the content of your inner mind, you are in fact injecting yourself with a spiritual vaccine, invisible, yet powerful, that will make you immune to every root of decline in life. Almost every disease begins with an idea, whether unconsciously received or deliberately sown, a silent fear, a chronic sense of lack, a deep-seated prejudice toward failure, all accumulate and eventually take form in the body or in life circumstances. A person who does not control their mind is like someone leaving the door of their home wide open in a place full of thieves. But a person who guards their thoughts with faith and conscious selection is building an invisible shield, a spiritual immune system capable of stopping any harmful idea from entering the subconscious. This is the real vaccine. No needles, no side effects, no dependence on external conditions. It radiates from within you, from the very ideas you choose to hold and quietly nurture. Every thought you hold with emotion enters the subconscious, and the subconscious does not distinguish between true or false, right or wrong. It receives as the soil receives every seed. If you sow seeds of illness through worry, the subconscious will make your body respond as if the illness has already come. But if you sow faith in health, prosperity, and harmony, you are activating the most powerful self-healing mechanism within you. This is why words carry such weight. Every sentence you repeat in your mind, if filled with enough emotion and belief, becomes a command, and the subconscious always obeys that command with precision. Many people do not realize they are living according to a program they themselves have unconsciously created. Statements like, I can't, I'm always unlucky, my health is poor, have become daily doses of poison, gradually killing the natural immunity of the mind. But when you replace these statements with affirmations such as I am health, I am protected by divine intelligence, I live in wholeness and abundance, you are not merely speaking differently, you are rewriting your own source code. And from that moment, something new begins to grow. This invisible shield is not created in a single day. It is the result of steady practice. Each morning when you wake, your mind is soft like moist soil. Plant in it a positive affirmation, and you have just administered your first spiritual antibody of the day. Each night before sleep, instead of carrying the day's worries with you, place in your mind the image of a more complete version of yourself, healthy, prosperous, at peace. Do this often enough, and the subconscious begins to accept it as truth. And what is accepted as truth in the subconscious will soon become reality in the outer world. Healing is not a sudden miracle that comes by chance. It is the logical response of consciousness when you change your pattern of belief, when your mind is filled with positive images, uplifting emotions, and right affirmations. You are reprogramming the entire mechanism of your being. Every cell responds to your belief. Every circumstance begins to reorganize itself to reflect precisely what you believe most deeply. This is the clearest sign of a mind that has been properly immunized. Physical vaccines protect the body from viruses. Spiritual vaccines protect the soul from despair. A person who has received a physical vaccine may still live in fear, but a person who has received the spiritual vaccine lives with a deep trust that all is well, that health does not come from hospitals but from inner balance, that wealth does not come from markets but from right thinking, and that is the truest protection of all. Every person has the sovereign right to administer this vaccine to themselves. No one can do it for you. No outer intervention is more powerful than inner transformation. When you choose the right words, the right thoughts, the right images, and repeat them with faith and consistency, you become the highest physician of your own life, and your mind, like a sacred shield, becomes impenetrable, free from fear, free from doubt, free from dependence. What remains is only strength, clarity, and the eternal life force at work within you, the invisible virus, the spiritual pandemic of our time. Have you ever wondered how many thoughts pass through your mind each day without your awareness, silently reprogramming your life? Have you ever stopped in the whirlwind of negative news, comments, comparisons, and the noise of society to ask yourself, what am I absorbing? What am I allowing my mind to hold? In this age, it is not bacteria or biological viruses that pose the greatest threat. It is the invisible waves of distorted thoughts, limiting beliefs, and dark images broadcast daily that sow a spiritual epidemic more dangerous than any physical pandemic. Do you realize that the modern world constantly pumps into human minds messages of lack, fear, and helplessness? The media calls it information, but to the subconscious, it is a command. The bold headlines, the casualty numbers, the images of despair, the pessimistic predictions, all of these become toxic nourishment, digested daily without anyone naming them. The spiritual atmosphere of humanity has been polluted, and in this contamination, illness sprouts not from microorganisms, but from belief. The human mind was never designed to naturally repel intrusion. Without training, it is like an open field, receiving every seed, good or poisonous, every thought repeated often, especially when charged with emotion, seeks to take root in the subconscious. And the subconscious, like a loyal worker, begins to construct a reality in harmony with what it has received. A person who constantly thinks of sickness will gradually weaken. One who continually fears losing their job will soon draw unemployment toward themselves. One who always feels lack will remain in lack, regardless of how much they possess. This is how invisible viruses work. They do not lodge in the blood or the cells, but dwell in the unpurified corners of consciousness. From there, they spread through layers of emotion, behavior, choices, and eventually shape an entire life. Are you the one controlling the content you consume each day? When you open your phone, do you choose what you read? Or do you let the current of algorithms carry you wherever it will? When you speak with someone, do you keep only what nourishes your soul? Or do you allow complaints, criticisms, and comparisons to seep into your subconscious like a sweet poison, when you reflect on the common thoughts that have occupied your mind recently, are most of them positive or negative? Take a moment with this question, not to judge yourself, but to awaken, because from the moment you become conscious of the quality of your thoughts, you begin the process of purification. When a person understands that their mind is not a trash bin, they will begin to treat it as a sacred garden, and they will learn to guard that garden not through harsh control, but through refined choice, with a calm yet unwavering inner will. No one lives in a vacuum. You exist within a collective energy field, where the thoughts of the many affect the thoughts of the individual. If you are not strong enough, you will be swept along by the tide of fear and limitation. But if you know how to strengthen your spiritual immune system through right choices each day, you will become a point of light, not only for yourself, but for those around you. From there, you no longer live merely in defense, but begin to live as one who actively radiates light. You no longer fear spiritual infection, because you know you are emitting the energy of healing. Your mind deserves to be nourished by what is beautiful, is good, and true. Not everything you hear is true. Not everything you read needs to enter your mind. You have the right to refuse a thought if it does not serve your health and prosperity, and when you exercise that right, you choose to live in light instead of shadow. You step out of the manipulated collective field and into the field of the awakened, the self-mastered, the free. Let me ask you this. When was the last time you truly sat down and quietly observed the content you had taken in throughout the day? When was the last time you turned off your phone? Not because the battery was low, but because you knew your mind needed rest. When was the last time you declined a complaint-filled conversation simply because you knew you deserved protection from that energy? If you have never done this, let today be the first day, and if you have already begun, keep going, for this path will lead you to a deep, silent, and lasting healing. Thank you for being here, for listening, for giving your precious presence to ideas that carry healing power. Every time you choose to feed your mind with light, you are adding another layer of protection for yourself and for the world. This is the strongest vaccine of our time, and it comes from within you, the healing power of the subconscious, the silent soil of growth. Every thought sown into the mind carries within it an invisible seed of life. Whether you are aware of it or not, whether you desire it or not, once it has been accepted by the subconscious, it begins its silent journey. The subconscious does not require your constant watch or supervision. It does not demand that you understand its inner workings. It needs only one thing, that you believe it to be true, and from that belief, all things begin to grow in silence. It is like a seed planted in the earth. The farmer does not need to dig it up each day to see whether it has sprouted roots. He need only tend the soil, trust the law, and allow time to perform its part. The subconscious is such a soil fertile, ready to receive whatever you entrust to it. And if you sow into it thoughts of health, wholeness, and abundance, the outcome cannot be other than their manifestation in your body, in your circumstances, and in your future. No forceful control is needed, no excessive effort, only the right seed and steadfast belief. One who repeats with conviction that their body is strong, that every cell functions perfectly, that the divine intelligence is healing every imbalance within them, is sending to the subconscious a clear and unambiguous command, and the subconscious, like a master craftsman who never tires, will begin orchestrating every system of the body to comply with that command. This is not blind faith, it is an inner law, as precise as a biological law, for when an idea is wholly accepted, the subconscious does not question whether it is an objective fact or a product of imagination. It has but one task: to bring into reality what you have believed. Consider how a wound heals. You do not need to instruct skin cells on how to divide. You do not need to direct white blood cells to travel to the site of injury. Your body knows. It possesses an innate intelligence, wordless yet powerful, and that source of intelligence exists not only in the body, but deeper still, in the realm of your subconscious. When you feed it right ideas, wholesome images, and positive affirmations, the entire system automatically adjusts to reflect the new belief. Healing is not an intervention from the outside, it is the unveiling of inner order. When the subconscious receives a clear signal that you are whole, it ceases to transmit signals of disorder. When you stop focusing on the symptom and begin nurturing the sense of inner wholeness, if you withdraw energy from illness and redirect it into the pattern of health, and the subconscious responds accordingly. Every day, every moment, you hold the power to choose which thoughts will be planted into that sacred soil. No one else can decide this for you. If you continually sow thoughts of doubt, fear, and limitation, the subconscious will faithfully construct a life that mirrors them. But if you resolutely sow health, abundance, and peace, you will begin to see new shoots of life rising from the deepest part of your being. All true transformation begins in silence, no display, no upheaval, no need to shake the outer world. The subconscious works quietly, but the results it brings forth are unmistakable. A healthier body, a clear mind, more favorable circumstances, a harmony that permeates every relationship. All of this originates from the restoration of order in the innermost part of you. The subconscious does not require long years to respond, it requires consistency. A right thought, repeated often with belief and feeling, quickly forms a new pattern, and once the pattern is set, the result appears as a natural consequence. Just as no one can stop a sprouted seed from breaking through the soil, no one can prevent a thought that has taken root in the subconscious from rising into material form. No one is too weak to heal. No one is too late to change. It takes only a turning inward. It takes only a refusal to seek solutions outside, and a decision to trust in the mind's own power to restore itself. When that happens, all limitations begin to dissolve, and life itself starts to flow again strong. Gentle and in perfect order, healing is not in the future. It is here, in this present moment, in the instant you decide to place your faith once more in the power of your subconscious. From that moment on, the recovery is no longer something to be sought. It becomes an absolute certainty. The inner environment, the vibrational ecosystem of the mind does not exist independently in an empty void. It always operates within a specific inner environment. Every thought you hold, every emotion you experience, every image you repeat in your mind becomes a living element in the mental ecosystem you inhabit. Just as the body needs a stable biological environment to sustain health, the mind needs a harmonious vibrational space in which right thoughts can grow. Claude Bernard once said that as long as the internal environment remains stable, the body can resist any disturbance. This principle applies perfectly to the realm of consciousness. When your mental ecosystem is maintained with faith, gratitude, stillness, and inner order, no toxic thought can take root. But if that environment is polluted by anxiety, doubt, criticism, or judgment, then no matter how beautiful your affirmations are, they will not survive. Untended soil cannot yield good fruit. Every person lives within their own vibrational climate. Some radiate a natural ease, an atmosphere that makes others feel safe. Others carry the damp air of sorrow and resistance. This is not the result of luck or inherent temperament, but of thinking habits that have shaped their energy field over time. Every word, Every thought, every emotional reaction is a substance contributing to the climate within. When you complain often, you create a heavy, dense vibration. When you are grateful, you raise your inner frequency. All of this not only exists in your mind, but radiates into the entire energy field surrounding you. Others may not see it, but they always sense it. This vibrational ecosystem is the foundation for everything that will enter your life. You do not attract what you want merely through outward words. You attract what corresponds to your true inner frequency. A person who constantly thinks they lack money emits the vibration of scarcity. And the law of resonance will bring them circumstances that mirror that lack. In contrast, one who lives in the consciousness of abundance will draw more concrete expressions of prosperity. The same principle applies to health, to relationships, to work. You cannot deceive the subconscious by saying one thing while feeling another. It responds to the emotion you truly hold, not to the words you speak. Your inner atmosphere is shaped by what you encounter each day. What you read, the stories you hear, the people you speak with all affect the mental environment you sustain. If you regularly consume negative news, listen to conversations filled with criticism, and live among those who view life through the lens of fear, then no matter how many positive affirmations you practice, they will be like seeds scattered in a storm. Conversely, when you deliberately choose what enters your mind, you are purifying your inner air and creating conditions for healthy seeds to grow naturally. Keeping the inner environment clean does not mean denying reality or avoiding discomfort. It simply means making wise choices. Just as you do not need to eat everything you are offered, you do not need to accept every thought that comes to you. You can say no to a negative comment, refuse a piece of news designed to instill fear, step away from a conversation dripping with judgment. Each time you do this, you are protecting the atmosphere within the space that will nurture every result in your life. The mental ecosystem needs daily care, much like a garden. There are old thoughts that must be uprooted. There are unresolved emotions that need to be observed and transformed. There are limiting beliefs that must be replaced with healthier patterns. This work does not require resistance or struggle. It requires your attention to what is good, the constant repetition of what is right, and the maintenance of a peaceful awareness. The mind will rebalance itself. The subconscious will cleanse itself, and a new atmosphere will emerge, carrying within it what you truly wish to become. No one is born with a perfect inner environment. It is the result of practice. Each time you choose peace over reaction, you are tuning your frequency. Each time you choose gratitude over complaint, you are elevating your vibrational climate. Each time you choose silence over argument, you are creating space for divine intelligence to operate, and when that environment becomes pure, stable, and higher in frequency, everything you sow into it will naturally sprout. No striving, no struggle, because the right seed has been planted in the right soil. When the ecosystem within you becomes clear, you are no longer pulled into the chaos outside. You can stand in the midst of turbulence and remain at peace, face challenges without being consumed by them, live in the world without being ruled by it. From there, you not only live in health and happiness, but you become a living source of healing climate for the space around you. You are the climate, you are the environment. And when you change, everything begins to change with you. Affirmations, words that shape reality. Nothing penetrates the subconscious faster and more powerfully than words charged with emotion. A statement repeated often enough, with complete belief, becomes the operating pattern for a person's entire life. Words are not merely a means of communicating ideas, they are tools for creating reality. Every time you open your mouth, You are either blessing or cursing yourself. You are sending an invisible command to the subconscious, a realm that knows no jokes nor hidden meanings, only obedience. Your body, your circumstances, the world you inhabit, all are the accumulated result of the words you have believed and repeated day after day. Words are the most potent form of thought made tangible. They create sound, and sound is vibration. Vibration is the language the subconscious understands best. A statement spoken with belief and vivid mental imagery seeps into the depths of the unconscious like a stream of honey sinking into the roots of the tree of life within you. A man once came to a class and said he feared losing his job. He did not say this casually. He had been repeating it to himself for weeks, even months. That thought had become a belief, and that belief had turned into a repeated statement. Once the words became familiar, the subconscious began to operate in harmony with them. Without intervention, it would soon arrange events so that he would indeed lose his job exactly as he had declared. This was not punishment. It was the perfect feedback of a perfect system. From that same system, when he began to replace the old statement with a new one, everything shifted. I taught him a simple, emotionally rich affirmation, easy to remember, easy to visualize. He repeated it every morning and evening with seriousness and faith. Within just 15 days, not only did he keep his job, but he was promoted. Why so quickly? Because words have the power to reconfigure reality, and the subconscious needs no time when you truly believe in what you declare. However, not all words carry the same power. An affirmation is effective only when it contains three key elements. First, the present tense. The subconscious does not understand the future. It does not respond to statements like, I will, I hope, or I wish. It reacts only to present tense declarations like, I am, I have, I do. Second, genuine emotion. If you speak mechanically, without feeling, then no matter how correct the phrasing, the subconscious will not open its gates. On the other hand, even a simple sentence, spoken with inner resonance, will go straight to the subconscious and begin working instantly. Third, clear, simple, direct language. The subconscious does not understand complexity or metaphor. It requires clarity. Every word must be a command, not a suggestion. A powerful affirmation is a straight arrow, a living seed, a beam of light cutting through the clouds of doubt. If you say, I am healthy, you must feel it in every cell. See yourself walking with ease, breathing freely, working with enthusiasm. If you say, I am wealthy, you must clearly picture the money in your hands, feel the relief of paid bills, see tangible expressions of prosperity appearing in daily life. You are not speaking only with your mouth, you are speaking with the images in your mind, the emotions in your heart, and the silent faith behind every word. Just as a chemical formula has its precise ratio, affirmations have their own vibrational structure. When you say, I'm a failure, that sentence creates a specific vibrational blueprint, and your entire system will try to reproduce it. But when you say, I am the living expression of divine success, and you believe it, then your body, your nervous system, your hormones, and your circumstances will gradually align themselves to match the new blueprint. You do not change your life by fighting the old. You change it by planting the new with steadfastness. Words are not a surface decoration. They are the way you rewrite the source code of your life. If you want healing, speak as though you are already healed. If you want prosperity, speak as though you are already living in abundance. If you want peace, speak as one who knows stillness. And most importantly, speak these words every day. repeat them, reinforce them, plant them again. Every time you speak, you water the seed, and then at a certain point, it will sprout, not because you forced it, but because you spoke long enough, right enough, and true enough. Words do not merely describe reality, they form reality. And the one who knows how to speak the right words at the right time, with the right belief, will never live the same way again. Such a person steps into the light where thought, feeling, and speech flow as a single creative stream. From there, nothing is impossible, and no ground is too barren to bloom again. For everything begins with a word, and when that word is spoken from belief, it becomes law. The spiritual virus, negative beliefs that take root from within. Not every thought that passes through your mind is harmless. Some arrive clothed in reason, common sense, and popularity. Yet conchea la toxin. They do not hurt you immediately, but they gnaw away at your faith, drain your inner strength, and slowly reprogram the entire operation of your subconscious. This is the spiritual virus unseen, like bacteria, under a microscope, yet persistent in the darkness of an uncleansed mind. These viruses often come in the form of phrases heard since childhood, warnings repeated endlessly, viewpoints handed down from generation to generation without a single moment of re-examination. Phrases like, money doesn't grow on trees, life is suffering, love is pain, illness is inevitable, old age means weakness may sound reasonable, but beneath them runs a dangerous command line to the subconscious. For the subconscious does not analyze or judge. It simply accepts what you repeat with feeling and records it as truth. A person can live an entire lifetime without realizing they are infected with dozens of spiritual viruses. They may want health, but deep down believe their body is fragile. They may want wealth, but carry guilt from having been told that money is the root of evil. They may long for happiness, yet believe happiness was never meant for them. This is the conflict between the conscious mind and the subconscious, and in that battle, the subconscious always wins, for it is the source of your emotions, your behaviors, your decision, and your tangible results. You may say you want something good, but if your subconscious has been programmed with negative thought patterns, every surface effort will fail quietly. Not all spiritual viruses come from outside. Some are born from inner wounds, from sharp, unhealed moments in the past. A single criticism when you were young, a failure mocked by others, there's a curse from someone you trusted. All of these can become the starting point of distorted beliefs about your worth. If you never revisit, decode, and replace them, they will continue to operate like background commands in an operating system. Each time you try to step forward, something inside will pull you back. Each time you prepare to speak, a small voice will whisper that you are not worthy. That is not truth. It is simply an old memory left unrenewed. And you can rewrite it all once you understand that your own words carry the power to reprogram yourself. This is the power of the voice within, not just a voice you hear, but a space you return to. Your inner voice is more than a whisper in your mind. It is the living space you retreat to whenever the outside world grows chaotic. If that voice is filled with love, steadiness, and clarity, you will always find a secure refuge. But if it is packed with criticism, doubt, and limitation, then you are living in a mental home, slowly eaten away by termites from within. You must rebuild that house not by tearing it all down, but by replacing each brick with new declarations, clear thoughts, and strong affirmations that you are no longer a victim of the past. Each time you repeat a positive affirmation, you administer a dose of spiritual antivirus to your subconscious. Each time you refuse to accept a negative statement, you close a door to contamination. Each time you forgive an old memory, you uninstall a piece of malicious code embedded in your mind. From there, a purified space opens within you, a space where good ideas can flourish, where you can rewrite the entire program of your life in a way that is truer, wiser, and more harmonious. Repatterning thought does not happen in a day, but it begins the instant you become aware that something inside you needs cleansing. Once you have seen it, you cannot pretend you have not. At that moment, you have two choices. Let the old system keep running, you with outdated programming, or begin the replacement process, not by fighting, but by illuminating, not by resisting, but by nurturing. For light does not battle darkness, it only needs to be present. A spiritual virus can only survive where there is no light. When you begin to speak words like, I am worthy, I am loved, I am protected, I am the expression of wholeness, you are restoring your original source code. Each of these statements becomes a strand of light, weaving your inner vibrational system back together. Gradually, you are no longer governed by the old voices. You become the one who speaks truth, who feels what is real, who lives in the primal energy that has always been yours, an energy untouched by virus, containing only life, restoration, and renewal. Not every thought you have ever carried belongs to you, but now you can choose what stays. That choice, repeated daily, becomes a spiritual wall that shields you from the intrusions of the outer world. You no longer need to live in fear. You need only remember that your greatest power has always been within you in the very voice you choose to hear and believe. That voice is not just a sound, it is home. And in that home, no virus can survive. Inner self-check, observing the mind each day, no one can truly heal without first pausing to observe what is happening within. Just as a doctor cannot prescribe without diagnosis, you cannot change your life if you do not know what is operating in the deeper layers of your consciousness. The subconscious does not respond to what you outwardly wish for. It operates only according to the thoughts and emotions you have repeated often. Many pray for peace, prosperity, and healing, yet at the same time hold in their minds images that contradict those desires, limiting statements, recurring negative reactions. They become disappointed, not because spiritual law has failed, but because they have not truly looked at what they have sown. The first step in any healing journey is to conduct an inner self-check, to observe without judgment, to look back without resistance, to be aware without avoidance. Your mind is a garden. Every thought is a seed. If you do not know what you have planted, do not be surprised when unwanted plants appear. A sacred daily habit is needed to return inward and observe. Each night before sleep, sit quietly, no noise, no rush. Take a few deep breaths to disengage from the chaotic currents of the outer world. Then gently ask yourself, what were the dominant thoughts in my mind today? What did I say to myself? How did I react to unexpected situations? Did I keep my faith, or did I let worry take over? No scoring, no praise or blame, only honesty. Inner honesty is the starting point of all true transformation. One simple but powerful method is to write it down before going to bed. Note three things. First, the negative or automatic thoughts you repeated during the day. Second, the strong or lingering emotions you felt. Third, an opposite affirmation that can replace and establish a new belief. For example, if you wrote, "Today I thought I am not good enough," you can rewrite it as, "I am the living expression of divine wisdom. I grow every day." This is not mere positive thinking. It is the process of cleansing and re-establishing your inner vibration. You are removing an old layer and replacing it with a more conscious, more luminous one. The moment before sleep is when the subconscious is most open. What you plant at that time has the greatest chance of sinking deeper than at any other moment of the day. This is a sacred time, so instead of letting your mind replay worries about work, money, health, or relationships, sow into it images of wholeness, love, and divine order. Picture tomorrow, beginning with guidance, everything unfolding at the right time, with the right people, in the right way. Repeat a simple, profound affirmation, such as, all good is coming to me. I am protected and guided. I am at peace and whole. Words like these, planted at the right moment, can transform the entire vibrational foundation of the subconscious in a short time. Observing the inner self does not mean digging endlessly into the past or analyzing every detail of memory. What matters is seeing the present clearly. It is not what you have been through that determines your life, but what you are thinking and feeling about it right now. An old memory has no power unless you carry it into the present through untransformed emotion. By observing daily, you will soon see patterns. You will notice thoughts that always appear in certain situations. Once you are aware, you can replace them. Once replaced, you are no longer a victim of thought, but the master of your mind. Inner self-check is not only an act of healing, it is a deep act of self-love. You cannot truly love yourself if you do not know what you are carrying inside. Just as a homeowner must know what is in every room to keep the house clean and safe, the master of the mind must look into the inner space to protect its spiritual integrity. No one can do this for you. No one knows you better than you. And no one can open the door to healing unless you choose to look within and become aware. One man shared that he had lived for many years with a deep sense of uselessness without knowing why. Only when he began journaling nightly did he realize that throughout his childhood he had always heard the words, "You'll never amount to anything." Though his parents were long gone, those words still lived in his mind like an unnamed curse. Once he saw this, he began replacing it with the affirmation, "I am valuable. I was created to accomplish meaningful things." Within weeks, his energy changed. He spoke differently, stood differently, saw the world differently because he had begun to look inward and rewrite. This is the key for anyone who truly wants change. No method is effective without daily observation of your mind. No affirmation is strong enough without honest awareness of your current vibrational state. No healing can last without the steady practice of self-illumination. And that simple act, performed before you drift into sleep, is the doorway to a new life, a life that begins in truth, is nourished by attention, and grows in the light of awareness. From that place, anything can begin anew, and it all starts with looking at yourself gently, without fear, without haste, with nothing but truth, and everything will change. Scientific prayer, the right way to communicate with the subconscious. Prayer is not an act of desperate pleading, nor a blind ritual bound to tradition. Prayer, in the scientific principle of the mind, is the conscious act of planting into the subconscious a specific positive command charged with faith and emotion. No prayer can be truly powerful unless it arises from a state of inner alignment where thought, word, and mental imagery move in one direction. Prayer does not change God, it changes us. It is how we adjust our vibrational frequency to resonate with the universal principle, and when that alignment occurs, the outer results begin to shift accordingly. Your subconscious is always in a state of receptivity. It never stops working. Therefore, every word you repeat in your mind, whether you call it prayer or not, is an instruction sent to the subconscious. If you often think that things will get worse, if you repeat within yourself that you cannot overcome something, If you tell yourself that no one is there to help you, you are already praying negatively without knowing it. The subconscious does not distinguish between good or bad. It is loyal only to the content you impress upon it with belief. For this reason, praying scientifically requires a clear awareness of what you are transmitting. The careful choice of words, the use of appropriate emotion, and the visualization of the outcome as if it is already a fact. A proper prayer should not carry the feeling of begging or helplessness. If you say, "I hope to be healed," "I wish I could overcome this," or "I plead for a miracle," you are affirming that you do not have it, that you are lacking, and that you are powerless. The subconscious will register that vibration and reproduce the feeling of lack in your reality. Instead, a scientific prayer must be spoken with absolute certainty that what you desire is already occurring in the unseen. Speak as if you are describing an accomplished fact. "I am fully recovering. I am the expression of perfect health. The divine intelligence is healing me every moment." This is not expectation, it is conviction. And in that conviction, the inner walls of limitation begin to crack. Effective prayer does not need to be long or ornate. A short sentence, clear and rich in emotion, he can be more powerful than hours of repeating empty words. What matters is that you feel the truth within the statement. When you say, "I am living under divine guidance," you are not merely making a wish, you are opening a spiritual current, allowing higher wisdom to direct your every step. Then you will begin to sense clarity, to see the brighter path, to access solutions that previously seemed non-existent. The best moments to pray are when your mind is quiet, early in the morning, before the day's activities begin, or at night before sleep, are the two times when the subconscious is most receptive. In these moments, choose a quiet place. Sit or lie in a comfortable position. Relax your body completely and breathe slowly and steadily. Then bring your attention to your heart, the place where you feel life. From there, begin to silently repeat or visualize your prayer. You do not need to speak loudly or rush through the words. Let each one sink into your awareness with complete focus. You are not just speaking to yourself, you are sending a message into the creative center of the universe itself. A woman once shared that she had suffered from chronic pain for many years, trying every possible remedy without improvement. Eventually, she was introduced to the method of scientific prayer, practiced each night before sleep. She chose a simple affirmation, "I am the light, and the healing of the Creator is flowing through me." Every night, she repeated it silently in a state of complete relaxation, visualizing light spreading throughout her body. She was not wishing, she was feeling it as truth. Within 3 weeks, her pain began to fade, and her body recovered rapidly. There was nothing miraculous here, only a principle applied correctly. Scientific prayer is the journey back to the original creative power you have always possessed. No one needs to give you permission to speak to your subconscious. No one can block your access to the invisible current that shapes everything in your life. And once you understand that every time you speak with faith, you are rewriting the entire source code of your life, you will pray not with anxiety, but with reverence, not because you are afraid, but because you understand. Right? Prayer does not require you to change the whole world. It only requires you to change how you speak to yourself, from doubt to trust, from fear to gratitude, from begging to conviction. From that place, everything begins to move, not because a miracle came from outside, but because you have unlocked the healing gateway within. This is the right way to communicate with the subconscious. This is the art of the word spoken in faith. And this is the foundation for all lasting transformation in the life of the spirit. The divine breath, harmonizing body and mind. Breath is not merely a biological reflex, it is the sacred bridge between body and spirit. In every ancient wisdom tradition, breath has been seen as the living current of life, the most tangible presence of the life force flowing through each of us. When your mind is in turmoil, your breathing becomes rapid, shallow, and strained. When you are at peace, your breathing is gentle, deep, and steady. This reveals an undeniable truth. By adjusting the breath, you can adjust the state of the mind, and conversely, when you bring the mind into stillness, the breath will naturally harmonize. Between the two, there is always an invisible thread linking and influencing each other. In times of stress, people often fail to notice that they have stopped breathing fully or have been breathing shallowly for long stretches. This causes the nervous system to tighten, the brain to receive less oxygen, the organs to be compressed, and the entire biological system to enter a state of alarm. If this continues, disorders and illnesses begin to appear. Yet, if you simply pause for a few minutes each day to breathe consciously, you are sending a direct signal to the subconscious that all is safe, that there is nothing to fight or flee from. From that moment, the body begins to shift into self-recovery mode. Circulation improves. The immune system is activated, emotion calm. The mind clears. Breath is the bridge between the finite physical self and the infinite spiritual self. Each time you inhale deeply and exhale slowly, you are not only soothing the body, but also opening the gateway to a natural meditative state. There, brainwave patterns, slow, logical thinking, gives way to deeper perception, and you begin to hear the quiet voice of your own soul. Breath is the vehicle that returns you to the present moment where there is no past to regret, no future to fear, only life unfolding in perfect wholeness right now. And it is only when you are fully present that you can communicate rightly with the subconscious. There are many breathing techniques, but in the spirit of healing, simplicity is essential. Begin by devoting a few minutes each morning and evening to conscious breathing. Sit or lie in a comfortable position. Close your eyes. Inhale slowly through the nose to the count of 4. Hold for the count of 4. And exhale through the mouth or nose to the count of 6 or 8. Feel the air entering your chest, flowing down into your lower abdomen, then slowly leaving your body. Repeat this cycle at least 10 times. During this, do not try to control anything, simply observe and feel. If a thought arises, let it pass like a drifting cloud, and gently bring your focus back to the breath with regular practice. The breath becomes a sacred ritual. It is no longer an unconscious biological function, but an intentional act of awareness. In each cycle of inhaling and exhaling, you are reminding yourself that you are not a victim of the world. You are the steward of the energy flowing through your body. You are receiving and releasing. You are taking in life and giving back what no longer serves you. It is a dance between giving and receiving, and from that state, everything begins to move with greater ease and harmony. One man who had suffered from chronic anxiety tried countless treatments without success. Only when he began practicing deep breathing daily, combined with silently affirming, "I am inhaling healing energy and exhaling all worry," did his life truly change. After a few weeks, he began to sleep well again. His nervous symptoms eased. His work became more productive, and he reconnected with his family. It was not because he had found a miraculous solution, but because he had returned to his natural rhythm of breath, something long forgotten in a life of constant motion. Breath is the most tangible embodiment of intelligent life. It does not need your reminder to function, yet it always reflects your mental state. And when you consciously adjust your breath, you are also consciously restoring harmony between body and mind. In this state, the subconscious becomes more open, more receptive, and your prayers become more powerful. You no longer plead from a place of lack. You declare from a place of fullness. You no longer repeat what you fear. You speak what you choose to believe. In every method of healing, every inward journey, every practice of restoring vibration, breath is both the first and final gateway. You can forget every theory, but if you remember how to breathe rightly, you still hold the key to returning to the original order of life. This divine breath, approached with reverence, will not only soothe the body, but also open a new space where body and mind merge into a single flow from that place. You are no longer a fragment in the universe. You are part of the heartbeat of eternal life. And every breath you take is the very breath of the Most High, continuing creation through you. The formula of affirmation, principles and the right way to apply them. An affirmation can be a seed sown into the field of the subconscious, but only when done correctly will that seed sprout and blossom. Affirmation is not the mechanical repetition of positive phrases. It is a scientific method for reprogramming the operations of the mind. Anyone who understands the formula for a proper affirmation holds the ability to create profound, lasting, and holistic transformation in every area of life. Affirmation is how you rewrite your definition of yourself, the world, the future, and the limits or potentials you choose to believe in. The subconscious does not know right from wrong. It only accepts what you repeat long enough with enough belief and emotion. The question, then, is how to make every word you speak become a command with creative power. First, every affirmation must be stated in the present tense, because the subconscious does not understand the future. When you say, "I will be wealthy," the subconscious does not register action. It retains the feeling that you do not yet have it. But when you say, "I am living in abundance," an entirely new vibration is generated immediately. The subconscious responds to present truth, not stored dreams. Whatever you want to become reality, speak as if it is happening now. No delay, no waiting, no vagueness, only certainty as if it were an obvious fact. Second, the language must be simple, direct, and positive. Avoid negatives. Do not say, "I am no longer sick," but rather, "I am healthy and full of vitality." Do not say, "I'm not afraid of failure," but "I am confident and moving forward." The subconscious does not process the word "not." It only registers the image tied to the core content. When you say, "I am not weak," the picture of weakness is still replayed in the mind. When you say, "I am strong," the subconscious begins to restructure in a new direction. Each sentence should be concise, clear, decisive, and affirmative. You are not suggesting, you are not hoping, you are declaring this is your truth. And the subconscious will honor the truth you affirm with the clearest emotion. Third, emotion is the ultimate catalyst. An affirmation without emotion is like a seed without water. No matter how correct, complete, or frequent your words, if there is no spiritual life behind each one, the subconscious remains closed. Speak as if you are speaking to a great power that is listening and ready to bring into form what you have declared. Let your heart vibrate. Let your breath move with each word. Let your mental images align with what you speak. In that moment, you are not just talking, you are recreating a reality from the unseen. And the unseen will inevitably take form. A man who had been unemployed for nearly a year spent each day saying he would try to find work that he would overcome. Life did not change. When taught the correct formula for affirmation, he began repeating a completely different statement every morning and night. I am working in a job I love, earning a high salary, in a creative and supportive environment. He felt the joy as if it had already happened, visualizing every detail of the workplace, the scent in the office, the smiles of colleagues. 3 weeks later, an old acquaintance unexpectedly referred him to a position exactly matching what he had envisioned. Nothing was accidental, only vibrations planted deeply at the right time. This is the power of the voice within, not just a voice you hear, but a sacred space you return to each day. When you return to that space with stillness and faith, every word you speak becomes a key, unlocking the subconscious, not through haste, not through the number of repetitions, but through the depth of presence. Its power lies not in volume, but in authenticity. And that authenticity is the bridge that carries you from your current circumstances to the new reality you choose to create. Another crucial point in the affirmation formula is persistence. No affirmation works instantly, because you are not merely planting a new seed, you are also replacing an old forest that has been rooted in the subconscious for years. In the early days, you may feel that nothing is changing, but persist, for in the unseen, your inner system is being reprogrammed piece by piece. Every time you affirm, you water the seed, and one day, without effort, that statement will have become a natural part of you, and reality will adjust itself to mirror that change. Choose your words as you would choose. Rare seeds. Speak as a creator, building the universe of your own life. Repeat them as one who understands that what is planted rightly will bear fruit in its season. The right affirmation formula is no mystery. It is science. It is art. It is the spirit of life, expressed through words. And when you know how to use it, you do not just change beliefs, you change your life. With a single word, in a new state of mind, in the sacred space you can always return to, for in that place, your inner voice is your greatest power. Visualization, the inner cinema and its biological effect, everything you vividly imagine in your mind has the potential to appear in your physical life. This is not a vague theory, but a deep, operational principle of the subconscious. In the innermost layer of the mind, there is no boundary between imagination and reality. When you visualize vividly and with emotion, the subconscious accepts that image as a biological instruction and begins adjusting your entire internal system to reflect what you have just imagined. This means that what you repeatedly project within will, over time, manifest. Without visualization is the art of creating an inner film in which you are the screenwriter, the director, the lead actor, and the audience. This film requires no special technology or elaborate props, only clarity, deep emotion, and the strength of belief to sustain it daily. The more you repeat it, the more familiar the image becomes to your subconscious. And what is familiar to the subconscious becomes ordinary in reality. This is why many people live in limitation, not because they lack potential, but because the images inside them are of limitation, failure, worry, and doubt. They replay the same negative film for years without realizing they are the ones running it every day. A person who wishes to change their life must first change the inner film. If you want health, don't simply repeat, "I am healthy." Picture your body moving freely, blood flowing smoothly, cells radiant, skin glowing, breath effortless. Imagine yourself hiking up a mountain, laughing aloud, walking in a sunlit park. If you want prosperity, don't just say, "I am wealthy." Picture yourself signing new contracts, helping others, making wise investments, living in a space you love. Each image must be clear, detailed, and carry a positive feeling, as if it is happening right now. The human body responds to mental imagery as it does to reality. An athlete can improve performance simply by mentally rehearsing the competition. The brain sends signals to the muscles, adjusts reflexes, and the entire nervous system acts as if real practice is taking place. A patient can heal faster by envisioning the body being restored, cells regenerating, energy returning. Modern medical studies have confirmed that the immune system improves markedly in patients who practice positive visualization daily. The subconscious not only hears words, it sees images. And the clearer the image, the deeper the impact. One crucial point in visualization is consistency. Many fail because they visualize once and then abandon it, or they picture the positive, but then return to a life filled with negative thoughts. This creates inner conflict. When the subconscious receives two opposing commands, it cannot fulfill either fully. Therefore, you must sustain that positive film daily, at a set time, in a quiet space. Early morning after waking and at night before sleeping are ideal times to plant new images. You do not need long, just 5 to 10 minutes of full focus on what you want, as if you are living in it now. Let emotion merge with the image. If you visualize yourself speaking to an audience, feel the confidence in every step, the gaze of the listeners, the sound of applause. If you visualize healing, feel the lightness in your body, the steady beat of your heart, the wave of gratitude flowing through you. Each emotion is a bioelectrical signal sent to the control center of your subconscious. And when the subconscious becomes accustomed to that feeling, it will begin seeking ways to make it reality, not through magic, but through a subtle reorganization of behavior, habits, and even the opportunities you attract. A woman once lost her sense of direction after leaving her job. She felt useless, adrift, and without faith, guided to practice visualization. She began picturing herself running a small project, helping the community, sharing knowledge. She imagined each step, each meeting, each message of thanks she received. Within weeks, an old friend invited her to co-lead a community program, and from there, a new path unfolded. Nothing was by chance, only images strong enough to call forth their matching form. Visualization is the sacred art of seeing the unseen in order to call it into being. With enough practice, the positive film replaces the old one. Eventually, you no longer have to force the image. It plays automatically in your mind. That is when the subconscious has completed the programming of a new reality, and life will mirror exactly what you have seen within. For nothing can appear without first existing inside. In that unseen realm, you are always the director. Each day, each image, each feeling is a mold for destiny. You can choose again. Begin today, in stillness, with clear images, and with a heart full of gratitude, for you are rewriting the future with the very light that radiates from within. The mirror, not just a reflection, but a gateway to restoring self-belief. Have you ever stood before a mirror, not to fix your hair or check your appearance, but to truly look into your own eyes, to face yourself, to speak and to listen to the voice within? Have you ever asked, who is this person looking back at me? Asterisk. Could it be the pure essence of yourself, forgotten after years of wounds, judgments, and doubts? A mirror is not just an object in a room. It is a gateway that leads straight into the deepest regions of your inner world. It doesn't only reflect your outer form, it makes visible the beliefs you hold about yourself. And right there, in that sacred space, you can begin again restoring the connection between conscious and subconscious, between sight and truth, between the person you appear to be and the whole being within. Every morning when you stand in front of the mirror, what is the first thought that appears in your mind? Is it satisfaction or disappointment? Faith or doubt? Gratitude or the desire to change something? That first thought is the truest reflection of what you've been planting in your subconscious. If you look into the mirror and feel you are not good enough, not beautiful enough, not worthy enough, then no amount of verbal affirmation will take deep root, because within you still hold the opposite image. But if you begin your mirror dialogue with words of love, appreciation, and recognition, then day by day, you are restoring the true image of yourself in the deepest layers of your mind. The mirror is not just a place to see yourself, it's a place to understand yourself. When you look into the mirror and say a positive affirmation, like, I love and accept myself completely, you are sending a powerful signal into your inner depths. Repeat this daily with presence and belief, and you will find that over time, not only will the way you see yourself change, but the way others see you will change too. You will no longer move through life with the energy of someone lacking, but with the energy of someone whole. Wholeness doesn't come from being perfect, it comes from ending the war against yourself. Some people cannot meet their own gaze in the mirror for more than 5 seconds. They cannot bear the sting of disappointment when they see themselves. They avoid it, rush past it, and head out into the world wearing the same familiar mask. But healing begins only when you dare to look, to face yourself without judgment, to love yourself without condition. The mirror is a place where no one can pretend, and if you can learn to stand before it each day as part of a sacred ritual, you are training yourself to live honestly, not just with others, but with yourself. There was once a man who lived in shame for more than 20 years because of a mistake in his past. Every time he looked into the mirror, he saw a failure, someone undeserving of love. But one day, after reading about the power of mirror imagery, he began to change. Each morning, he looked into his own eyes and repeated, I am forgiven. I am learning to love myself. I am worthy of a full life. Asterisk. At first, he felt awkward, doubtful, even foolish, but he kept going. 3 weeks later, his eyes were different. 6 weeks later, he regained the energy to work, reconnected with his daughter, and welcomed new opportunities. Nothing miraculous happened, only a man who dared to stand before a mirror and speak to himself the words he had needed to hear for so long. And what about you? If you are hearing this now, I want to ask, the last time you looked into the mirror, what did you say to yourself? Did you criticize or did you encourage? Did you see someone doing their best to live, or did you see only flaws to be hidden? The answer doesn't need to come. Now let it stay with you, like a door left slightly ajar, because only when you see yourself with new eyes can you step into the world with new energy. Thank you for being present in this special part of the journey. Not everyone dares to pause and face themselves. But if you are here, listening, it means something in you is ready to step out of the old territory of judgment and into the new space of forgiveness, love, and certainty. And if tomorrow, when you stand before the mirror, you remember just one thing, let it be this. The look you give yourself is the first affirmation your subconscious will record. Let that look carry gentleness, steadiness, and the belief that you are changing from the inside, from the deepest place in your being. The mirror does not just reflect. It is a gateway, a passage into the land where you have the right to rewrite what you once believed about yourself. And if you step through that gateway with sincerity, you will not only see yourself again, you will meet the most sacred part of you that has always been there, waiting for you to come home. 3 emotional antibodies: gratitude, joy, and forgiveness. In every biological immune system, there are specialized antibodies that help the body fight toxins and pathogens. In the inner energy system, there are 3 emotional antibodies, essential for protecting the mind from vibrational contamination: gratitude, joy, and forgiveness. Each of these is not merely a mental state, but a living frequency capable of neutralizing negative emotions, restoring vibrational harmony, and opening the way for health, wisdom, and intuition to function smoothly again. They do not need to be learned from outside, for they already exist in the original spiritual structure of every person. The only issue is that too many have forgotten how to activate and nurture them daily. Gratitude is the first and most potent remedy. It does not depend on circumstances, but on how you see the world. A person living in abundance without gratitude will always feel deprived. Conversely, someone at rock bottom who still holds gratitude still leaves room for miracles to happen. Gratitude is the art of shifting perception from lack to sufficiency, from anxiety to peace, from fear to trust. When you start your day with a silent whisper of thanks, I am grateful to be alive, to be learning, to have the chance to change, your entire biology receives that positive signal. Your heart rate stabilizes, your immune system strengthens, your nervous system moves from reactive mode to healing mode. Gratitude is a choice, not a reflex. And when you choose it, you choose to restart life from a safer place within. Joy is the second antibody, but here, joy is not a fleeting excitement. It is a deep and steady state from within. It is the feeling of being at ease with yourself, relaxed in each moment, and at peace with the present. When you work with joy, the body does not release cortisol, the stress hormone, but endorphins, the neurotransmitters of wellness and vitality. A person who eats in joy, even a simple meal, absorbs it fully. A person who works with joy, even in repetitive tasks, finds creativity and dedication. Joy does not need to be hunted down. It emerges when you stop comparing, stop judging, and start reconnecting to the flow of life in each breath. Simple acts: watering a plant, cooking a meal, taking a walk, if done with mindfulness and appreciation, become sources of inner energy renewal. From there, you become a transmitter of light, rather than an absorber of darkness from your environment. Forgiveness is the final antibody, no less essential. Forgiveness is not about condoning another's wrong. It is about freeing yourself from the grip of old wounds. Holding on to resentment binds your life energy to the past. Every time you revisit the pain without letting go, you re-trigger the biological stress response: rapid heartbeat, shallow breath, rising blood pressure, weakening immunity. By contrast, true forgiveness, not in words, but as an inner transformation, returns life to your body, clarity to your mind, and freedom to your soul. Forgiveness is not only for others, it is for yourself, for past mistakes, incomplete décisions, unnamed sorrows you have kept hidden. Forgiveness is the declaration that you no longer wish to live in the old story. Only then can the subconscious begin writing a new chapter for you. These three emotional antibodies work strongest when practiced daily. You do not need to overhaul your whole life. Start with small moments. Write down 3 things you are grateful for each morning. Do one simple thing with complete joy. Each night, close your eyes and silently affirm: I forgive, I release, I let it go. Asterisk. These seemingly small actions send powerful signals to the subconscious that you are living from a higher frequency. And when the inner world changes, the outer world follows. Gratitude, joy, and forgiveness do not originate in the physical world. They are expressions of the original life force flowing through every cell, every thought, every word. They are antidotes to all negative emotions, protective walls for the spirit, and pure energy sources that restore the soul's wholeness. Above all, they are proof that you are never a victim of life. You are always the one who can choose how to respond, how to see, and how to love yourself again. When you live with these 3 antibodies each day, you no longer need to seek the light. You become the light, and from that light, all healing begins. Vibrational diet, a 30-day nutrition plan for the mind. Most people focus on what to feed the body, yet forget that the mind also consumes every single day. Every thought you hold on to, every word you repeat, every image you absorb is an invisible form of nourishment taken into your nervous system, your emotions, and ultimately stored within your subconscious. Nothing you take in leaves without a trace. If you want to change your physical health, you must change your diet. If you want to transform your inner life, you must change your vibrational diet. And that is why you need a mental cleansing plan, not to deprive yourself, but to purify, to nourish, and to restore the original frequency of life within you. A vibrational diet does not begin with physical food, but with conscious choice for 30 days. You will filter every source of energy entering your nervous system. This is not an exercise in force, but an exercise in awareness. Before speaking about something negative, pause and ask yourself whether it will nourish or destroy. Before reading, watching, or sharing any information, consider whether it opens your heart or closes your mind. The things you allow into your environment will become seeds silently planted in your subconscious, and they will later bear fruit in the form of your life circumstances. During these 30 days, limit your exposure to sources of anxiety, criticism, and judgment. Minimize the repetition of old stories colored by victimhood. Instead, increase your intake of uplifting, healing, and inspiring content. Let each morning begin with a positive affirmation such as, "I open my heart to this new day with gratitude and trust." Asterisk. Let each night end with the image of yourself, surrounded by light, protection, and love. This is not mere imagination. It is the deliberate reprogramming of your brainwave state before sleep, the time when your subconscious is most active. Every day in this 30-day journey becomes a test to identify which energies nourish you and which toxins drain you. You may discover that the most familiar conversations are the greatest energy leaks. You may find that silence is sometimes the purest food for the mind. In silence, you hear the voice within, and then you realize something profound. This is the power of the voice within, not just a sound you hear, but a space you return to. That space is not noisy, rushed, or filled with reproach. It is simply you and the original energy of your being, awaiting rebirth. Practicing a vibrational diet also means learning to speak again with awareness. Every word you speak carries a frequency. It can heal, or it can wound. For these 30 days, commit to speaking only what you want to see become reality. If you want health, speak health. If you want peace, speak gently. If you want love, let every word flow from a heart that already knows how to love itself. Words are nourishment for the soul, and your soul deserves the purest, most life-giving diet. In the early days, you may feel inner resistance. A mind accustomed to negativity will try to pull you back into old orbits. Situations around you will test your resolve. But remember, this diet is not about perfection. It is about awareness. Each time you notice yourself slipping from a higher frequency, that is not failure. It is the success of recognition. There is no healing without the light of seeing clearly. The very act of returning to your chosen path each time you wander is the most powerful action you can take. By the end of the 30 days, you will not be the same person, not because you forced yourself into becoming someone else, but because you have removed what no longer belongs to you. Your energy will feel lighter, your mind clearer, your sleep deeper, and your relationships more harmonious. For when you change what you take in, You change your entire biology and the vibration you emit, and the world simply mirrors that back to you. Remember, your mind is a garden. What you plant in it today determines what you will harvest next month, next year, and in the decades to come. Do not leave it untended for the weeds of doubt, of fear and criticism to overrun. Begin to fertilize it with kind words. Light, wisdom, and stillness. A vibrational diet is not something you do once and abandon. It is the foundation for living each day as a conscious choice. When you live this way, you no longer need to strive to heal. You simply live, and healing happens naturally. For life always knows how to restore balance where it is honored, and you are that place. The power of resonance, collective prayer, and the circle of declaration. Every individual is like a pillar of waves, radiating a unique field of energy. But when many people simultaneously align toward a shared positive goal, a higher frequency emerges, what we call resonance. In that moment, the energy is no longer personal. It becomes a collective current, lifting the entire space into a new vibrational state. In this state, prayer is no longer a solitary whisper, but the convergence of many voices carrying the same intention, the same longing, the same upward-reaching consciousness. And the circle of declaration becomes a bridge between the limited self and the boundless we, between what is visible and what is still forming in the deep layers of existence. Collective prayer is not a ritual bound by formality. It is not dependent on religion, nor does it require a fixed structure. It begins in the heart, with faith, and with emotional harmony. When a group of people close their eyes together, breathe deeply together, and surrender into a shared affirmation, the subconscious of each person no longer works in isolation. It expands, interconnects, and multiplies in strength like hands clasping to form a bridge between the seen and the unseen. This power cannot be measured by any machine, yet it can be clearly felt in the shift of the space's atmosphere, in the quieting of the mind, in the brighter light in the eyes. After each session of resonance, in many ancient cultures, the power of collective healing was well understood. A sick person would be placed in the center of a circle, and the entire community would declare their wholeness, their recovery, their perfection as an undeniable truth. They did not beg for a miracle. They affirmed the miracle as already in motion. They did not focus on the wound. They focused on the pure essence rising within. And remarkably, the sick often recovered far faster than expected, not because anyone possessed a special power, but because the resonant energy awakened the body's natural capacity to heal from within. Today, we live in separation, surrounded by noise and broken connections, yet deep inside, humans still long to belong, to walk together, to be supported. The circle of declaration is the modern expression of that ancient right. It is a gathering place for awakened souls, not to complain, but to reaffirm what is right, what is good, what is sacred, and being restored. Each person in the circle speaks an affirmation for themselves, but in doing so, also speaks it for all. When I say I live in peace and abundance, that energy not only envelops me, but flows to the person beside me. And when they say I'm completely healthy and love myself, I receive a portion of that healing resonance as well. Resonance is not in the volume, it is in the sincerity. A small circle of three with complete intention can be stronger than a crowd of hundreds speaking mechanically. The core is presence, the willingness to step into that space with the faith that what you are declaring is truth, not yesterday's truth, but the truth now taking shape, not from current circumstances, but from the deeper vibrational layer where all circumstances are born, Practicing collective prayer need not be complicated. Once a week, a few like-minded friends can simply gather in stillness, a candle lit, a shared breath, a few minutes with eyes closed, turning inward. Then each one speaks their affirmation, clearly, with feeling, as though addressing the subconscious of the whole. No analysis, no critique, only listening, receiving, and resonating. Then the whole circle falls into a few moments of silence, letting the energy sink deep into the unseen layers. The practice ends with gratitude, not only for one another, but for life itself, for the power at work in every cell and every word. The effect is not always instant, but after several gatherings, you will feel a noticeable shift. A clear mind, less fear, deeper sleep, positive synchronicities appearing in daily life, the body responding with lightness, and a profound sense that you are no longer walking this path of transformation alone. This is the power of resonance, where the I dissolves into the we, where what seemed fragile in isolation becomes unstoppable in the unity of a single frequency. In our chaotic age, the circle of declaration is more than a spiritual exercise. It is a homecoming, a return to the primal memory that you are never alone, never powerless, never abandoned. You can always connect with others through a healthy energy field. You can always resonate with souls walking toward the light. And when you choose to speak your affirmation with all your love, you are not only healing yourself, you are contributing to the healing of the collective field. Because in a world where every vibration has an impact, one awakened soul is a lighthouse, and an awakened circle is a new dawn for an entire realm of frequency. Asterisk, asterisk, 21-day protocol. Reprogram your mind and ignite a new life. Most of what people are living today is not the result of conscious choice, but the result of an automatic program in the subconscious, recorded years, even decades ago. The mind operates like a recording device that never stops. Every repeated thought, every recurring emotion, every familiar reaction gets stored and hardwired into habit, into an unspoken belief, into an unconscious behavioral pattern. Then, without realizing it, you live by that code, not because you lack ability, but because you have never updated the core operating system within. The 21-day protocol is the starting point to change that, not through tense, exhausting effort, but through deliberate, graceful repetition. Why 21 days? Because that is the minimum time the brain needs to register a new thought pattern into its regular activity. In 21 days, if a behavior, an affirmation, or a mental image is repeated with presence, the brain begins to accept it as a new reality. Then the subconscious will automatically reorganize biology, emotions, and circumstances to harmonize with the new frequency. This is not mystical theory. It is the natural neurological response of your brain and nervous system when exposed to repeated information under consistent conditions. The 21-day protocol doesn't ask you to change everything at once. It asks you to focus on one key affirmation, one clear image, one positive emotional state, and hold it in your mind consciously for 3 weeks straight. Each morning upon waking, breathe deeply, stay silent for a few minutes, and repeat your affirmation. Don't just recite it, feel it, see it in your mind, believe it as though it is happening now. For example, I am living in a completely healthy body. I am loved and I love deeply. I work in joy and abundance. As you repeat it, imagine yourself fully inside that reality, experiencing it in the present, not in some distant future. At midday, take a brief pause to repeat it again. no matter what you're doing, at a short moment, is enough to bring the message back to the surface of your mind. This is how you keep your frequency stable throughout the day. Don't let your mind drift into random noise. Every repetition strengthens the new neural network you are building, just as training a muscle strengthens it until movement becomes effortless. At night, before sleep, comes the most important moment. Visualize and feel your affirmation as if it is completely fulfilled. In that drowsy, drifting state, your brain enters alpha and theta waves, the state where the subconscious is most open. This is when you plant the seed deep in the most fertile soil. It takes only 5 minutes. But those 5 minutes done consistently and sincerely can change the direction of your life entirely. During the 21 days, you may encounter inner resistance. Old voices will rise up in your mind, questioning whether this is realistic, accusing you of self-deception. Don't fight them. Simply acknowledge their presence and return to your core affirmation. Those voices are not enemies. They are outdated programs waiting for an update. And you are the one rewriting the source code. The secret of this protocol is not in the number of days, but in the quality of repetition. If you perform it mechanically, even 90 days will be meaningless. But if you do it with true presence, within the first few days you will feel a shift, a deeper inner calm, sharper focus, and a trust in life that no external proof can give you. From there, you no longer need to convince anyone. Life itself will echo back what you believe through new signs, opportunities, relationships, and events. When you complete the 21-day protocol, you'll realize you are no longer the same person, not because you forced yourself into change, but because you have returned to your natural state, a mind in order, words flowing from clarity, emotions cleansed, and actions born from a pure source. This is the reset of your entire vibrational field. You don't wait for circumstances to change. When you change, circumstances naturally align. Remember, the subconscious doesn't distinguish between true or false, real or imagined. It only responds to what is repeated most. The 21-day protocol is your way of deciding what becomes the new standard in your subconscious. You are no longer living by old reflexes. You are living by a new design. And from that design, a new life begins to take shape. The protocol is not a challenge. It is a commitment to return to your inner authority, a commitment to speak what you want instead of repeating what you fear, a commitment to live by conscious choice rather than unconscious habit. And when you live this way, you don't just transform yourself, you become a frequency of healing for those around you, not by preaching, but by your presence, because your presence becomes proof of one simple, profound truth. Life can always begin again from within, from today, from you. If you have journeyed through all 16 parts, not merely with reason, but with presence and feeling, then you have already begun a new life, a life no longer governed by old programs, but built upon conscious choice. You have been given an inner protocol, a set of simple yet powerful tools capable of reprogramming your entire biology, emotions, and future. Every affirmation, every visualization, every moment of prayer, every small action infused with gratitude, joy, and forgiveness, all are signals to your subconscious that you are ready to heal, ready to grow, ready to live a life that does not repeat the past, but begins to write a new chapter from the deepest layers of the soul. Your life will not change because you strive. It will change when you truly believe you are worthy. And from the moment you believe that, you will no longer seek the light. You will be the light